actually everything that's needed, such as the torque sensor and the steering angle sensor. They are internal to this, and they call it the steering column. That was an excerpt from my previous video, and yes, that statement may not be accurate because the steering angle sensor usually lives right here on the back side of the mechanism called the clock spring, rather than right there, which was what I had been claiming in my video part 1. The motor, the module. This guy here, I don't know, probably there are torque sensors and the steering angle sensors inside. So I made a wrong assumption that the steering angle sensor is an integral part of the steering column, but it's not. The truth is that it lives right there on the backside of the clock spring mechanism. Now, what is the clock spring and how to get to it? First, you have to obviously remove an airbag, but first you have to disconnect the battery cable, unless you want an airbag to deploy in your face. Anyways, you will have to undo these bolts, one on each side of the steering wheel. An airbag will pop out, and then there will be either one or two connectors that you have to unplug from an airbag. And then you have to remove the bolt that holds the steering wheel fixed on the steering shaft. And then when you remove the steering wheel, voila, you will be able to see the clock spring right in front of you. The function of the clock spring is to provide for the wiring that are attached on the airbag, as well as the buttons on the steering wheel that I don't have here. Those wires rotate together in tandem with the steering wheel and the front part of the clock spring, and in a parallel pattern, thus preventing the twisting wires or the connectors for those wires. So the continuity is maintained in the clock spring, and when it's compromised, then you may have an airbag light turned on. So yeah, you have to be careful not to spin the clock spring more than 360 degrees. It's not supposed to spin like a bicycle wheel, because you will damage the internal parts. I don't know, there's some spiral cable, ribbons, whatever inside. But yeah, and also you will mess up the steering angle sensor, because you will erase the absolute steering angle position inside of the EPS control module, and then you will have to perform the EPS steering angle calibration. Not a single drawing of the steering angle sensor in the workshop manual that I somehow purchased on the internet, nor the information about where it lives